They say time heals all wounds, but in Ukraine, time is a ticking bomb. 3 years since the invasion began, and somehow the world has started scrolling past. Headlines are fewer, protests are cuter, aid packages are delayed, but the bomb are still falling. The war hasn't ended. It has simply become router. Today, I'm diving into Ukraine political reality in 2025. Not just the frontline battle, but the real war. The diplomatic silence, the strategic cold shoulder, the shifting alliance. This isn't just about Ukraine anymore. This is about what the world chooses to care about and what it chooses to ignore. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might ask yourself, is the world abandoning Ukraine or just preparing to live with war? In 2025, the world wakes up to the war in Europe. Russia invades Ukraine. West unities like never before, sending weapons, sanctions, and hope. 2023, Ukraine fights back. The counter-offensive began. Western leaders line up behind Zelensky. NATO grows stronger, but the war doesn't end. 2024, fatigue kicks in. Aid slows down. Russia digs in. Ukraine holds the land, but the victory is small, the loss is massive. And then now, 2025, the battlefield is the same, but the world has changed. New election, new war, new destructions. The world has moved on, but Ukraine can't. This chapter wasn't written by soldiers or tanks. It was written by indifference. Now let's talk about the man in the arena, Volodymyr Zelensky. Once praised as a wartime leader, today he is fighting two fronts. One against Russia, the other against the limit of his own government. Corruption allegations, economic power shortages, Ukraine's internal cracks are growing. Not because Zelensky gave up, but because the war doesn't pause for politics. His approval rating have dropped, calls for reform grow louder, opposition parties are restless. But here is the truth. It's hard to run a country that is still being bombed every week, and yet amid everything, Zelensky still asks for one thing: don't look away. In 2022, Ukraine was the West's top priority. In 2025, it's complicated. The United States Congress is divided. Aid packages stalled. Some say enough is enough. Others say abandoning Ukraine is a mistake history will not forgive. Europe had economic pressure, political protests. Some countries currently suggest peace talks with Russia, even if it means Ukraine loses a territory. NATO is still strong, is still unified, but less aggressive caution has replaced courage. The West isn't saying no, but it's definitely not shouting yes anymore. Now look at the other side of the war. Putin isn't trying to win fast, he is trying to outlast. By turning this war into a frozen conflict, he is betting the world will forget, and honestly, he might be right. Russia has new partners: China, Iran, North Korea. They are not selling flowers, they are sending fuel. Take the silence. And the while Western media move on, Russian propaganda spreads. Narratives shift, news gets blurry, and the battlefield moves from land to perception. Here is the scary part. Ukraine isn't just a country in crisis, it's a mirror. A reflection of the world that's recalibrates. The global south, largely neutral. India, Brazil, South Africa, they are watching, not fighting. The UN powerless, sanction loopholes everywhere. International parties is low symbolic. Is the world abandoning Ukraine, or is it preparing for the war where conflict is just simmer forever? That's the question no one wants to answer. Meanwhile, inside Ukraine, the war is raw and relentless. Children learning in bunkers, hospitals operate without power, entire towns survive on a truck and hope, and yet they endure. Volunteer teachers, farmers, parents, they don't need a headline to survive, they need heat, food, peace. But most of all, they need to know they haven't been forgotten. Here is Sifa's lie ahead. Peace with compromise. Ukraine surrenders land for a case of fire. It's controversial, painful, but stops are bloodshed, endless war. Years of conflict, exhaustion, generation born into resistance, a breakthrough, new alliance, a renewed aid, a comeback. But here is the brutal truth. None of these features are guaranteed, and Ukraine doesn't get to choose alone. It depends on us, on what the world is willing to support or sacrifice. Now, Let's take a moment to reflect on the human cost of this ongoing conflict. In the shadow of shifting politics and dwindling headlines, the people of Ukraine continue to bear the brunt of this war. Millions have been displaced, families torn apart, children growing up in the shelters and the cities reduced to rubble. The humanitarian crisis is struggling, hospitals struggle to provide care, infrastructure crumbles, and the winter looms heavy over the nation is still fighting for survival. Aid organizations report increasing dispersion among civilians. Food insecurity is rampant, mental health issues are skyrocketing, and the scars of war run deep. Yet amidst this distress, resilience shines through. Community band together, voluntary set up, and the spirit of defense remain unbroken. But as the world turns its gaze elsewhere, how long can this spirit endure? How long can Ukraine hold on when the support that once felt unwavering began to wane? Let's zoom out and examine the broader geopolitical landscape. The alliances that once seemed solid are now more fluid than ever. Countries are recalibrating their foreign policy, wavering their interests against the backdrop along the conflict. China, for instance, has positioned itself as mediator while simultaneously strengthening ties with Russia. They are not just watching, they are playing both sides, seeking to expand their influence where the West grapples with its own division. In the Middle East, nations are their instances too. Some view the chance as opportunity to assert themselves on a global stage. Meanwhile, in Europe, resurface as nations divide their commitment to NATO and the implication of prolonged support for Ukraine. This shifting alliance creates a precarious environment. The question arises who is still when it matters most. And more importantly, will it even matter if the world's attention continues to drop? So, what lies ahead for Ukraine? As we look into the future, we must confront some hard truths. The war might not end soon. The world might not really back behind Ukraine as it once did. Zelensky's government faces immense pressure, both from within and outside its border. Reform is essential, but how do you implement change when your nation is under siege? The path forward is fraught with challenges. Will Ukraine emerge stronger, or will it become another forgotten chapter in history? The reality is this: Ukraine's fight is not just for its territory, it's for its identity, its sovereignty, and its place in the world that seems to be moving on without it. One undeniable aspect has emerged: the power of international solidarity across the globe. Individuals and organizations are relying to support Ukraine in ways that transcend borders. From protests in major cities to online campaigns, people are united to raise awareness and funds for humanitarian aid. Social media has become life amplifying voice that demand action and accountability. The hashtag #StandWithUkraine has not just been a slogan, it has become a movement, a symbol of hope and resilience. Grassroots organizations are playing a crucial role in this effort. Local communities are organizing fundraisers, collecting supplies, and providing shelter for refugees. These acts of kindness remind us that even in the darkest time, humanity can shine through. But what does this solidarity look like on the ground? Let's take a closer look at some inspiring stories from around the world. In Poland, volunteers have opened their home to Ukrainian families fleeing the war. They provide not just shelter, but a sense of belonging, a reminder that they are not alone in this fight. In Canada, community centers have transformed into hubs of support, offering languages, job training, and emotional counseling for those adjusting to life in a new country. This initiative empowers individuals, helping them rebuild their lives while keeping their cultures alive. And in the United States, artists and musicians have come together for benefit concerts, using their platforms to raise funds and awareness for Ukrainian causes. The creative spirit knows no boundaries, and it's heartening to see how art can be a powerful tool for change. These stories highlight the importance of empathy and action. They remind us that while governments might filter in their commitment, ordinary people can step up and make a difference. The youth play a pivotal role in this movement. They are not just passive observers, they are active participants driving change through innovative ideas and relentless energy. Young activists are leveraging technology to mobilize support and educate their peers about the reality of the conflict. From virtual relays to educational campaign in school, they are ensuring that the plight of Ukraine remain at the forefront of global consciousness. Their position inspires hope for the future where compassion trumps over indifference. Meanwhile, inside Ukraine, the war is real, raw and relentless. Children learn in bunkers, hospitals operate without power, entire towns survive on aid trucks and hope, and yet they endure. Volunteers, teachers, farmers, parents, they don't need headline to survive, they need heat, food, peace. But most of all, they need to know they haven't been forgotten. Here is the three phases lie here. Peace with compromise. Ukraine surrenders land for a ceasefire. It's controversial, painful, but it stops the bloodshed into this war. Years of complex exhaustion, generalization born into resistance, a breakthrough, new alliance, a renewed aid, a comeback. But here is the virtual truth. None of these pictures are guaranteed, and Ukraine doesn't get to choose alone. It depends on us, on what the world is willing to support or sacrifice. So now I ask you, is the world really abandoning Ukraine, or are we just becoming more comfortable with war? Because war don't disappear, they just fall off the algorithm. This is Take 5 News. If you care about truth, justice, and the story others forget, subscribe, share, and comment below. Let's keep the conversation going on, because silence, that's how history repeats itself.